The first 3 seconds of a conflict dictate exactly how it ends. Before you even open your mouth to explain, shut down, chase, or explode, your body has already made a decision for you. Most people spend years in therapy trying to fix what they said during a fight. But if your nervous system has already hijacked your brain, no communication script on earth is gonna save the conversation. Today I'm showing you exactly what happens inside your physiology the first 3 critical seconds, and the exact somatic tool to stop the spiral before it takes over. Welcome to the Regulated Life, where relational nervous system science meets real life healing. If your body is tired of protecting you from the people you love most, you're in the right place. So let's actually sit with that opening for a second, because I think we breeze past it. Your body has already made the decision for you. That sentence should stop you in your tracks if you've ever even once said something in a fight that you didn't recognize coming out of your mouth, or gone silent on someone you love and watched yourself do it from somewhere outside your body like you were a passenger, or felt your chest seize up before your brain even finished processing what the other person said, and then spent the rest of the day trying to reverse engineer why you reacted the way you did. Here's the premise of today's episode, and I want you to really hear it. You have been treating your reactions like character problems, patience problems, communication problems, maturity problems, and every single time you've been about 3 seconds too late to the actual scene of the crime. Because the decision already got made in your body in less time than it takes to blink twice. This isn't a willpower conversation. This is a biology conversation. And once you understand the biology, an entire category of self-blame just dissolves. Not because you're suddenly off the hook for your behavior, but because you finally know what you're actually working with. Let's go inside the 3 seconds. There's a structure deep in your brain called the thalamus, and think of it as a switchboard operator. Every piece of sensory information that comes in, a tone of voice, a facial expression, a particular kind of silence, gets routed through there first. And from the thalamus, that information has 2 possible roads it can travel. One road goes up to your prefrontal cortex, your reasoning brain, the part of you that can hold context, weigh nuance. Remember that your partner is just stressed about work and this isn't actually about you. That's a brilliant, sophisticated piece of biological machinery, and it is comparatively slow. The other road goes straight to your amygdala, a much older structure, evolutionarily speaking, that has one job: detect the threat, respond now, ask questions later. The neuroscientist Dr. Joseph Ledoux mapped this pathway decades ago and gave the name that I think about constantly. He called it the low road because it is, quite literally, a shortcut. It bypasses your thinking brain entirely. And here's the part that matters for every relationship in your life. The low road wins the race every single time. Not because you're weak, not because you're undisciplined, because that's what it was built to do. It was built to get you out of the way of a car, away from a predator, out of danger before your thinking brain had finished forming a sentence. Wait, is this actually dangerous? Dr. Stephen Porges calls this process neuroception. And I want you to actually take that word in, because once you have it, you'll start seeing it everywhere. Neuroception is your nervous system's ability to detect safety or danger without conscious thought. It's not a feeling, it's not an opinion. It's a biological scan that happens below the level of awareness, and it runs constantly on everyone you talk to every single day. So when your partner's voice gets just slightly clipped, when a colleague's email reads a little colder than usual, when your teenager goes quiet at dinner instead of talkative, your neuroception doesn't wait for your permission to react. It just renders a verdict, threat, or safe. And your body starts moving before your mind has cast a single vote. This is why Just Calm Down has never once worked on a single human being in the history of conflict. You cannot logic your way past a system that, by design, doesn't consult logic until after it's already acted. Now here's where it gets specific, because your body's 3-second response isn't random. It's patterned. We call these patterns Sentry Archetypes. 6 protective strategies a nervous system builds based on what it learned somewhere along the way that connection was going to cost. And I want to walk you through what these actually look like in the first 3 seconds because I think you'll recognize at least one of them in yourself before I finish this sentence. There's a body that braces, spine straightens, jaw sets, words get clipped and precise. From the outside, it can look like control, even confidence. From the inside, it's a brace, a nervous system getting ready for impact before any impact has actually happened. That's an armored pattern. There's a body that softens and complies almost instantly. Sure, no problem. It's fine, really. While underneath, the stomach is dropping and the shoulders are pulling inward. That's not an actual agreement. That's an appeaser pattern. A nervous system that learned a long time ago that keeping the peace was safer than asking for what it actually needed. There's a body that reaches for reassurance, for response, for proof that the connection is still intact, sometimes before there's even any real evidence that it isn't. That's a seeker pattern. A nervous system is trying to settle an alarm it can't quite locate. There's a body that goes quiet, not stubborn, not cold, just genuinely offline. Words get short, even lose focus. Energy leaves the room before the body physically does. That's a bunker pattern, a dorsal shutdown. There's a body that flares. The voice rises, the words come fast, and the air in the room suddenly feels charged. That's a storm pattern. A sympathetic flood discharging the threat signal it can't mobilize quietly. And there's the body that goes somewhere flatter, further away than even the bunker. Almost absent, almost numb. That's a hollow pattern, the deepest version of the freeze response. 6 different bodies, 6 different jobs, all of them, every single one, trying to do the exact same thing. Protect you from something that, once upon a time, was genuinely dangerous to feel. And here's what I want you to really let land. None of these are personality traits. They're not even emotional responses, technically. They're somatic responses, built the way any motor pattern gets built, through repetition. The same way the pianist's fingers find the keys without conscious thought after enough practice. Your nervous system has practiced this for years, maybe decades. It's not a flaw. That's mastery of the wrong skill. This is also exactly why you can know intellectually, completely, that your partner isn't actually a threat and still find your body bracing like they are. Knowledge lives on the high road. Your reaction happened on the low road. They're not even in the same building. Can we talk for a second about how cruel the standard advice actually is once you understand the biology? Just don't react. Count to 10. Take the high road. All that advice is aimed at a brain that has, by the time you need that advice, already gone offline. You're being told to use a tool that isn't currently plugged in. This is especially brutal for high-functioning, high-achieving adults because you spent your whole life solving problems by thinking harder, working smarter, outperforming the obstacle. And then you hit a moment where your throat closes or your jaw locks or your voice goes flat. And your first interpretation is moral. I should have handled that better. What's wrong with me? Why can't I just stay composed? Nothing is wrong with you. You ran headfirst into one category of problem that thinking your way through doesn't solve, because the part of you doing the thinking was temporarily unavailable. You cannot use a phone that's been switched off. And in those first 3 seconds, your prefrontal cortex, your strategic, reasonable, articulate self, is functionally switched off. This isn't an excuse to skip accountability. It's the prerequisite for it. You cannot repair a pattern you're busy shaming yourself for. So if you can't think yourself out of the first 3 seconds, what can you actually do? You can interrupt it somatically because the fastest route back online runs through your body, not your mind. And the 2 fastest access points are your eyes and your jaw, both of them wired directly into your vagus nerve, the primary highway of your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of you that's responsible for calm, for safety, for stand down. The moment you feel the lock, chest, jaw, throat, whatever your particular signature is, soften your gaze and widen it. Stop staring at the source of threat. Let your peripheral vision open out to the edges of the room. This single shift tells the nervous system you are not, in fact, cornered. Then your jaw. Let it hang open just slightly. Nobody needs to see this. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Just enough that your back teeth come apart. And exhale slowly while you do it. That's it. Eyes wide, jaw loose, slow exhale. It takes less time to do it than it took me to explain it. And it's the fastest physical pathway I know of back to a thinking brain that can actually choose its next move instead of running an old script. I'm going to give you a full guided version of this exact move, and 3 more like it, one a day, all week. Because the concept you only hear about on a Monday rarely survives contact with an actual Tuesday afternoon. The eyes and the jaw tool I just described in full with the script you can actually use in real time. Wednesday is the boardroom exhale, built specifically for the moment you feel yourself starting to over-explain or take control of a conversation that's already escalating. Thursday is the humming door, a tool for the exact moment you feel yourself going quiet and starting to disappear from a conversation. And Friday, we close the week with a bilateral cool down. What to do after a hard conversation, when the conversation itself is over, but your body hasn't gotten the memo. And next week, we're going somewhere I think you'll recognize immediately. What happens when your thinking brain doesn't just slow down, it goes fully offline. We're calling it the relational red zone, and I'm going to explain exactly why a single shift in tone, silence, or distance can make you temporarily, biologically incapable of clear thought and what to do about it. Before you try to fix the relationship, find out what survival pattern your body is running. Take the relational nervous system quiz at mind-fusion.com/quiz. And if this episode helped your body exhale even 1 inch, share it with someone who is still calling their survival pattern a personality flaw. I'll see you tomorrow.